how many players are online in Pixel Worlds at this exact moment? Prizes. I'm sorry, but we are not going to tell you that. I've said this multiple times, that we do not comment on that. That is something that we decided when we first, like before we even released the game, that we are not going to be commenting or showing any numbers from our game to anybody at any point. If this will change in the future, yeah, I'm sure I'll show you the all the details and data, but we have decided not to share these numbers. Yeah, there are reasons for it. Why doesn't World of Warcraft show daily user numbers or subscriber numbers anymore? Why doesn't it show? But it used to. Why doesn't it? Can anybody answer? Because that's the same answer, basically. Because WoW is dead. But they removed it like years ago. And they also, when they launched Vanilla again, like Classic, World of Warcraft Classic, they got millions of players subscribing to their game. So why didn't they release their numbers again? Yeah, they know why. There's reasons for it. One of the reasons is it brews toxicity in the community. One of them is, and that's a really good reason, by the way. Like, it brews toxicity and toxic behavior in the community. There's also seasonal changes and other changes in the MMO games that then people take to make sensational YouTube videos and content. For example, like during summer, there is much more, or like let's make it even better. During weekend, there is much more players. But then during weekdays, there are much lower players. Do you know why this is? This is like on each and every MMO game has this same thing, so I can talk about it. It's not a secret. Why do you think that is? School. Yeah, and people work. Exactly. School and work. Yeah, they work. They can't play games. Surprise, surprise. But people then take this data and say like, hey, look at this, how this game is crashing. And this game is dying. Or, for example, after, like, during a summer break, you know? Each of you guys who work and are in school, normally during the summer you're gonna have some sort of a vacation, right? And this is, like, all across the globe, right? On somewhere on June, July, August. During that time, you're gonna have a much more, like, break, right? So what happens during the summertime? You're gonna have more players. This is actually the same thing that happens on each and every Christmas, right? There's Christmas break for everybody. Everybody's on a Christmas break. So there's gonna be much more players there. And then January, there's much less players on January just because of you have work. You can't be playing 24/7. But people then take that data and make sensational content that tells you, look how this game is dying. Look how they suck. Look how bad they are. They are not listening to the community and make that kind of things. And that brews a lot of toxic behavior and a lot of different things that you don't really want to, and that's not really any kind of real, like, then that's not true. And you as a game developer, I wouldn't go there and make like answer videos to everybody and like, you know, you're wrong. Instead, we've decided not to share viewer numbers or player numbers that matter. So yeah, really smart. Whose idea was that? I think it was a thing that we discussed. I cannot say whose idea it was. There were pros and cons about it. Of course, players want to know how much players there are in the game. Yeah, we understand that. It would be interesting data to know about the game, especially when actually like the game is doing good. Like last year was our best year ever for Pixel Worlds. If you didn't know, like that much I have told you guys. Like we've had so much new players. Like we had the most players ever last year. I cannot say we are going to like if we're gonna do better numbers this year, but we're not doing bad this year either. It's possible that we're gonna do better, but who knows? But yeah, that is as much as I can tell you that Pixel Worlds is doing real good right now, and it's doing better than it has done before. Maybe last year was better. I cannot tell until this year has gone by. First, are we doing this year better? But depends also. But also we also have to think about like there is this wide pandemic going on. MMO games have definitely done better, and gaming altogether has done really good because of this pandemic. You know, like people are staying home. I wonder what they're gonna do when they have free time. Would they be maybe playing games? Maybe. like, like, yeah, people might be playing some games during that time when they are locked inside and cannot go outside. So yeah, are the player numbers going to go down when all the pandemic ends? Probably, because everybody has been inside the doors, like inside their houses, inside their four walls for the past 2 years, and they're like, I gotta get outside. So, most likely, the player numbers all across the globe for all the games, by the way, I'm not talking about Pixel Wars, all the games is most likely going to drop when the pandemic ends. Because everybody's like, I've been inside for the past 2 years. Yes, let's go and try this outside thing. I've heard good things about it. You know, I heard about it. Like, it was a few years ago when I heard that you can play. I heard that you can play football. I wonder what this football might be. Let's go try this football. Pandemic will never end. But yeah, you know, that's going to happen. And at that point, once again, if we would be telling our player numbers, a lot of people will take that exact moment and then say, look how this game is dying. But then you look at all the games around the globe and you're like, hey, look at all the games are dying. Game industry is dead. Like, yeah, never gonna happen. But yeah, a little bit of ranty time. Like, we've done a lot of ranting lately. But you know, I really want people to understand as well, like why we have made these decisions. They are not easy decisions either. But yeah, that is that kind of thing. That's, well, of course, that's interesting as well. Like, that's super interesting topic, by the way. I think talking about player numbers and games into like game industry in general. I think it's pretty interesting. Soft lesson. Weekends are only available 23% of the week. Weekends are dying! Pandemic was kind of bad for big companies. We're seeing less game releases if you compare with the past. Mr. Edison, yes, I think one of the biggest reasons why we're seeing less games right now, even though this would be the perfect time to release the game, and especially release the game in time and not being delayed. I know we've been delayed, but that's not because of the pandemic. It's just like a good thing for a small company like ours is that we are 100% ready to work from our homes and that kind of things. We even previously in the past worked a little bit from our homes. We already did that, like half of our developers were like 2 days in a week were working from home, or at least 1 day out of the week. So we were basically ready for the pandemic as a game development company. So working remotely, like we were 100% ready for that. It was super easy compared to other games and how they do stuff. Because they have not allowed people to work remotely in the past, like game development companies.